Let me grab one thing while we get this party started. A little quiet. Let's take a little look here. We're about to put on some stuff. How you doing, Wilson?
Oh no, Wilson. The old ruggening. I see you, Meta DJ. Welcome, welcome. Oh, there's our guest co-host, Kwan. All right, let's get you up here too. Let's get this tweeted out. Ready to go. All right, Kwan, we got you accepting. Gotta get this room warmed up, guys. This is Metaverse Monday, Season 2, Episode 3. Also for X Spaces, Episode 78. VRM use cases and Nifty Island over the weekend. I believe Make said it himself. Nifty Island blew up. All the other platforms were a little bit quiet, but Nifty Island was on fire. It doesn't sound great, but on fire in a good way. All right. Let's do this, Make. Let's warm this room up and get it tweeted out.
Okay, we're going to start this day with Ferrari. Here we go. Let's fire it up and let's get this space out there. Meta bestie, CC, how you doing? Quan, good to check you again, my friend. Thank you for coming to co-host with us for this month of VRMs. What's good, C?
Good morning. Good morning. Having some coffee, enjoying the beautiful Monday that we are all here together. I am so excited, as always, to dive into today's conversation. Let's do a round of introductions for our podcast friends who are not with us today or who might be tuning in for the first time. Hey guys, I'm Cece, a Metaverse event planner, digital artist, world curator, and a One Metaverse advocate. My home world is spatial, but I've found my tribe across multiple worlds in this crazy, beautiful Metaverse of ours. I am also one of the Metaverse 3, a space dedicated to exploring new worlds every third Thursday at 1 p.m. EST, especially worlds like this new one that everybody is talking about. It's a hot topic. It's so fun. It's called Nifty Island. Make, can you introduce yourself for us, love?
Hey, 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 party people, what's going on? It's your boy Making NFT, aka J Griff 120, multi metaverse maxi. Love flying around all the metaverse with my meta bestie CC, and yeah, want to welcome a few of my fam favorites. One, we got Meta DJ in the building. What's good? We got Kanessa, absolute beast in the DCL family. MetaJet, head of Rave 3, one of the NFT projects that I hold myself in love. Jordan Yellen in the building today. Shout out a 3D creator that you've been seeing all on the timeline. If you haven't seen a Ute in 3D yet, well, you haven't seen Metatope. So shout out, Jordan. Can't wait to get a little hello. We got Kay in the building, one of my favorite Utes and Beasts. Jay, my Beast family, MMA. Anoop's in the building. Syntax in the building. Head of the Vipe family, or at least very close. Lovely 17, wearable maker extraordinaire, maker of the Making NFT Decentraland wearable. Hi Don, my Ute family. I think, and we got Lava Head in the building. So we're getting started. Let's go. OX Quan, how you doing, family?
Doing good. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Metaverse Monday. Hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my name's OX One. I am a Metaverse enthusiast, been in the space for a few years. I create content, I VTube, and I like sharing information that I learned along this journey. So excited to talk about VRMs today. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Awesome, awesome. And if you are one of our streaming friends today, welcome, welcome. Thanks to Vita TV, the one and only cable box for the metaverse. You are watching us as we go on our adventures. If you'd like to hop into the metaverse and join us, I did just post in the comments the link to our spatial studio, Metaverse Monday studio by Blockstone and Propagation House. Thank you so much. I got to customize this build all by myself with the help of the Propagation House team. So I added some stairs, put in a little blue tint, you know, really customized the space. And I have zero knowledge of Unity. So if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. I'm so excited. And again, I want to thank our broadcast partner, Biometa of Vita TV, the Verse's one and only cable box. Tap in, watch the Verse in real time, guys. All right, so I will post the link to our kick and let's get started. So we have an amazing speaker panel today. We have Meta DJ, we've got Wilson. I see Sinks down there. If you have time to come up and chat about VRM use cases, please, you are always welcome, as well as LM Designs. I see you. If you do have time to chat with us today, you've got some really cool use cases for over the reality and for, you know, those AR, XR filter assets and stuff like that. I saw a really pretty one from LM Designs this past weekend. It was like a face filter and it was complete fantasy and I'm totally here for it. Wonderful, wonderful. So, virtual reality models, we've been talking about it all month. So by now you should be pretty comfortable and familiar that these VRM are files, basically. They're very versatile format used primarily in virtual reality, augmented reality, and other 3D applications. Today we're gonna dive into it a little bit and discuss more ways than just gaming and metaverse that you can use these files. And we really hope that you are inspired to explore this cute little file type that can do so many things. And, you know, maybe build something you love and share it with us, share it with the world. So we are all, a lot of us are very, you know, comfortable in the metaverse space and we're familiar with 3D avatars for virtual environments and animation, game development, those sorts of things. And we just wanted to kind of like highlight other use cases to open the mind and inspire the heart. So I think, Quan, this is a really cool question for you because you are a VTuber, which you might want to explain what that is if some of our friends are not familiar with that term. But for VR, AR content creation, because I believe that's something that you do and you do it well.
Well, yes, thank you, CC. I appreciate you saying that. Well, to be honest with you, I haven't been VTubing that long, but the process has been super, super easy. So, for those of you who don't know what VTubing is, it basically stands for virtual YouTubing, right? And it's just the process of not using your face, right? You're not using your face when you YouTube or when you vlog or something like that. So, as a content creator, it's been a real learning experience figuring out how I want to present myself, right? For a long time, I wasn't comfortable being on camera. I'm used to being behind the camera, director, DP, you know, assistant director, whatever. And so when it came time for me to, or you know, when I wanted to have that experience of, you know, getting in front of the camera, um, I had to figure out what was going to be comfortable for me, right? And I feel like that's a big thing within this space. So luckily, you know, I was able to find a project that was aligning with the same goal that I was trying to accomplish. I found my vibe. You know, I started doing research on how to V2, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing so far. There are so many applications and tools that are available for VTubing. You can literally get started today. I mean, it's really, really impressive the technology that's out right now. Um, Typically, I use one or two tools to VTube, right? That's a platform to stream from, and of course, a platform that recognizes the VRM. So we can get into that a little bit later, but guys, yes, it is super, super easy to get started into VTubing, especially in this day and age.
Ooh, thank you for reminding me. So today I am using a service, a product called avatar.webcam. And I believe that is one of the suite of services that, is it Polygonal Mind? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yes,
polygonal.
suite of services that Polygonal Mind offers. They are the creators of the Vipe Heroes and so many other sort of, what would you say, digital tools that you can
Right.
enhance your life with.
I'd
That's
say
what I'm going to
CRM
call it.
tools, yeah, avatar tools, yeah.
Perfect. And it's really fun. I uploaded my VRM. It's super easy. You can connect your wallet. You can even connect it to Decentraland, which I thought was a really cool little feature. And then you can use it as a guest, or you can create an account. I'm using it as a guest today, just to test out, the capabilities. And I changed my background, and now there is tracking with the camera, and I am feeling super, super cute. I'm not going to lie. I'm very happy. And I believe a couple people in the audience, we have Altered Alley, who uses over the reality quite a bit, and does a lot of really cool XR, AR stuff. LM Design, again, is an amazing creator with over the reality, and also TikTok, and I believe Instagram. Definitely tons of filters that we can utilize. And I believe these are all VRM technology, which I think is really cool, or VRM files. Perfect. So let's see. So we have some other topics, but I do want to see if Wilson, did we lose Wilson? I wanted Wilson to introduce themselves. They are our friends from Somnium Space, but they're more than just Somnium Space. They're a developer, and you're a digital asset creator as well, right, Wilson?
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
Crispy, crispy, crispy. Please introduce yourself to our friends.
I would like to just introduce myself. I'm Wilson. I've kicked about in a lot of these different spaces, and I think we had a chat, and I said it would be nice for me to jump on and have a chat with you guys about VRMs, because I'm interested in that as well. Um, I'm mainly interested in VR more than anything else, though. So the VTubing and stuff, I'm not that interested in. I like it as a use case for VRMs, but obviously I'm interested in the persona that people want an avatar and they want to be inside that avatar and run around in these spaces in virtual reality. So that's what
Oh, perfect. So you'd be a great person to ask about like 3D modeling and design, because I believe that's something that you focus on.
I research it for our team over at New Frontier. Yeah, so if
Ooh, interesting.
if you want to look into the kind of stuff that we do as a group, obviously in my bio I do links and stuff for them. We built some stuff for OVR as well. So we did an installation in one of the airports, and anybody can pull out their phone and like open it up. You can actually see I posted it just recently today, I think it was, just to let you see like an installation from that part. But this isn't using VRMs, this is using GLBs. And we're more concentrating on that side as a file format.
Can I ask, that's an interesting concept, Wilson, because as I know it, all the bases for avatar creation are built through FBXs. Is that not mistaken?
Well, FBX is just the raw format. GLB is the compressed version. So yeah, it just depends on how you upload it to the different platform and what they accept.
Interesting. So, but generally speaking, right, like when we talk about moving things over to VRMs and heading over, and let me tell you, we're getting super technical right from the jump, family, but we're going to cover a whole bunch today. So, if you take, say, does that mean you're rigging your own avatars first as a GLB? I haven't heard of rigging softwares. Are you guys just doing that all by hand and then mapping them for there and then taking the textures and compressing them down?
So it depends on what platform we're talking about here. Obviously, from Somnum Space's point of view, they use their own uploader. So we originally used the FBX model, and then we export that out onto their program and then upload to their server. If we're talking about like Hyperfy, we export using Blender and we make it a VRM and then we can import it into that just using the normal uploader that they have for the VRM software. We've not really tried it in too many other places because a lot of the places are VRM and it's just drag and drop. VRM is a very good portable way to move data between the different places, but it is just a data format. So it's, for us, we would like it was just GLB because it's exactly the same format. It's just that we don't really have that information about the facial stuff right now, but we're not concentrating too much on that side.
I'd be really curious to have a run through your file, just, from this last year of digging through all these different avatars from our buddy Josh. Garrett, who helped me bring in my first beast into Unity, and there's that kind of crossover that uses FBXs, and then even rigging and almost every base rigging model I've ever processed and worked with have at bare minimum been a FBX. Even to export them into a VRM is a very interesting concept. I think we should get to a few of the things kind of cropping up right now. We've got some pretty wild stuff going on, Wilson, and we should circle back on that topic.
Please do.
Because honestly speaking, and I truly appreciate it. I'd love to take a look at one of those files and just kind of understand like the materials and like the weight behind them, because I feel like once you get into that FBX, it's almost like a lower process. It's almost as if you were talking a PSD file in photography versus like a JPEG.
No, that's GLB I was talking about. So obviously, GLB and GLOTF, like obviously are just compressed versions of the FBX.
Right. Yes. So okay, so we're all seeing the same pathway. Okay, well, we're gonna check back in on that one, but I think, honestly speaking, this has been one of the wildest weeks in the metaverse, right? I think most of us gave a try, or at least are very aware of Nifty Island, and I just wanted to steer the conversation a little bit that way, because there's, as we know, you could upload such as your Vipe. You could, if you've made a beast file, you could upload that. I use my Shells orb file, which was a nice surprise. But there are some pretty heavy topics wrapped around VRMs, usage from artists who have made the original VRMs, and I'd love to kind of steer the conversation that way because it's pretty hot button, CC.
It totally is. So on Thursday, we dove into Nifty Island because that like Wednesday, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday it launched. Quan, can you remind me, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't remember when we were in Discord.
Yeah, so it would have been the 17th. Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever the 17th, I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. So this world has been highly anticipated and people were so excited to dive in. And I believe like the Vipe Heroes, I don't know whether you guys helped with the launch or whatnot, but it was very Vipe heavy and I'm kind of like loving that. And we rocked in Discord and we chatted and helped each other through the onboarding process, which actually, once you kind of like walk yourself through it, is really easy to do. I downloaded the client. I took the handy dandy VRM and I created my avatar for this world. So as soon as I had to wait for like 700 or 800 users. I was like number 862 or something on the wait list to get into in-world. And so while I was waiting, I created my avatar, I uploaded it. The marketplace was a little bit of a barrier. It was a little bit scary to create initially, but once you walk yourself through it or have somebody help you, because you could technically mint these. So that was a topic of discussion that I'm kind of interested in diving a little bit into, uploading a VRM file. Like, I know this is mine, like I have IP rights to it. I own it. I'm not using the wallet that my Vipe NFT is in for security reasons. I'll go into that another time. So I uploaded the file that I have, and I can mint it and I can actually sell it, which is crazy, right, Meg?
Yeah, I think this really opens the door to some pretty serious conversations with creators. I know it's ruffled a few feathers, in a couple different platforms where, we could also start out with the DCL fam. That's been a real special gift that Decentraland has given out, to the ability for you to leave with the asset that you're using, the avatar that you've created. An example would be, okay, I'm wearing DJ Trax's helmet, I'm wearing, our favorite wings. See, I forget who makes them. I got my roller skates on, and I want to go head out with that avatar. I go in, and we taught you guys how to do that last week, or at least showed the ones of you who don't have it. But now what has kind of come to light that all of a sudden is questionably fair, right? Like, it's like, great, you could use this IP that you created and you could leave and you could go jump on to Nifty Island. That's fantastic. But you're minting your upload. You're not uploading it for use. You're literally minting it onto chain. They have 3 different options, and then you could choose the quantity of those options. So if you say a derivative of your avatar from your purchased NFTs that most do not say what the use cases are or how many or reproductions, and you decide, hey, I want to sell 50 of these characters, do you own that full version of your avatar with all this other people's art? It's definitely questionable. And
Yeah,
I
you
think
and me
that's the
got
first
into it
thing.
this morning.
That's right. We were full on sparring in our pre-production meeting. It's fair. The meta besties were having a tiff.
Oh my God,
And
so tippy.
I have to say, I started out pretty emotional on one side of the fence, and it wasn't until I went through the process again that I had to pause. I myself have 20 years in the photo game. I'm very passionate about artist rights. It did lead me to NFTs. And yet, when we start looking at these terms and conditions from different platforms, when we start exporting other people's art in these kind of side topics, we have to be asking ourselves, what is the right thing? What is the wrong thing? Like, yeah, I know I own my art and I want my avatar that I have purchased my clothing or my NFTs to be part of my story. But does that give me the right to make like reproductions of said asset and not, reward the different creators? The other question is, and again, this is a Decentraland thing, and we've got some wonderful and passionate Decentraland fam here, including Kanessa, who, if you have even a second, we would love to chat more with you on this. But the truth of the matter is, when you really open up the door to making derivatives of other people's art and selling them for another game, I don't know that that's the use case. And all of a sudden, all these
Yes.
wearable makers who did not put their terms of service on their said asset or their IP down, where does their concession stand? Where are their limits and liabilities? Do these things need options now, right? When exporting a VRM that says, hey, like, you could wear our stuff anywhere. This is an NFT, it's yours.
Yep.
But does that give you the right to resell it in any way? I mean, this is a
And that
very
is
loaded
part
question.
of what we were talking about earlier, is navigating these platform terms and conditions and protecting creator rights. So we went through it with the help of ChatGPT, because the legalese, that these terms of conditions, like all terms and conditions, are written in a legal sense, so the courts can understand what's right and wrong and stuff like that. But for Joe Schmo, who is me, it's really difficult for me to understand the verbiage. So I had to have ChatGPT dumb it down for me. So in layman's
I
terms,
think you could say for us. I'll be a
for
dummy
yeah,
right next to you, darling.
yeah. So while VRMs are offering this amazing opportunity of interoperability, which I am a champion of, it is important to address, this aspect of things that seems a little seedy, because it includes like money. And for some reason, talking about money tends to make things inauthentic in some way, which I think is bullshit. We're all here to monetize on some level. So the implications of platform terms of use or terms of, service on creators' rights should definitely be a conversation. I don't know if we should dive deeply into it today, but we did want to acknowledge sort of like that elephant in the room. Like, is this a flaw in Nifty's, process, creating a VRM file that is maybe not your own and selling it on the marketplace for profit? And it all comes down to, in my estimation, and Meg, I'll let you jump in a second, is read the terms of conditions. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you know what you're getting into. You want to, if you don't like the terms, maybe you can negotiate it with the platform. I believe, is it Sultry Dubs is sort of going to the Decentraland DAO and saying, hey, is there an option to opt out of exporting VRMs out of Decentraland? Which I think is a very intelligent question to ask and to dive into. And then, if you don't like the platform, I know this is an out there idea, but maybe build your own platform, which is crazy, but it's doable. And then, of course, you always want to seek legal advice. If it's something that is going to significantly impact your future, your brand, if it's going to impact you in a negative way, maybe you should seek, legal advice. I mean, these are just, topical, I guess, at this moment, because we haven't dived deeper into the conversation. But I think it's worth a future conversation, I guess.
I will say this. I think before we close, we should at least look at some of the clarification that we dug in onto their terms of service, because there are some updated answers from some of the chatter that's been coming out, and all with good reason. But we did find some clarifications, or what we believe to be some clarifications on the use cases and redistribution of VRM. So that's something I'd love to just break down at some point. And I think one thing we could really all agree on, since we've been doing this for a month too, is like, we've been talking about all this freedom we have with these files, and how amazing it is to become our IP over and over. And we saw so many, like the kid called Beast with all their VRM practice, including from Rastan and Juan, really had a jump of bringing their avatars into the platform. One interesting thing I'd say, just to add this in, right? When it comes down to like, when I uploaded my A Kid Called Beast VRM, and I uploaded my Vipe, I uploaded my Kid Called Beast, you're still like, it asks you like, do you have the right? Do you own this, right? Which that goes into some IP interest, but it also it has you associate what that asset is. Like LMD, who worked on my VRM avatars and helped me get them into spatial. When I went to put that in, and it was just a test, I said, okay, well, it's associated to the Utes. So I put the Utes, like you could literally attach their brand to it and it comes up, right? And then I had the power to say what it was. But I really don't think ever in our context of this entire month did we say, oh, can we resell derivatives of this? I think this is such a shocking revolution. This is like one of those things that completely changes the written, what's on your NFTs when you make wearables, the rights. Either way, we got a feisty group of people waiting, but I've just been so.
Let's fucking go. I
Let's
want to
get
hear
Syntax in the
it.
building. Last thing, if you ain't retweeted the room yet, what are y'all doing here, people? Give us some LUV and let's keep this party moving. Syntax,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, let's go with Meta DJ. Meta DJ raise their hand. Then we'll go to Quan, and then we'll have Sinks and Kanessa introduce themselves and share their thoughts.
Rawr, what's up, everybody? Happy Metaverse Monday. I'm feeling feisty after those comments. Yeah, guys, there's some exciting developments that are brewing, not just use cases for VRMs, which just totally plays off the idea of the metaverse being an extension of ourselves and a way we can represent ourselves, but also Nifty Islands, which, oh, big shocker. This is some real alpha. I have not been in there yet. But I've seen all your content and I can't wait to dive in. For me, I am most interested in how can we throw events. Of course, as a metaverse and AI DJ, I'm very interested in being able to create social experiences beyond even maybe the base meta game. But what I am really excited about is a platform that communities come together. And while, yeah, it's valid to say, well, hey, it's interesting how this is getting attention, yet we have Decentraland, Spatial, and other platforms that we, the metaverse influencers and pioneers, have been building on. But to me, I'm just looking for a catalyst. Not only do I want to be, a multi-meta DJ, but I also just, all it takes is one platform to do it right and capture an audience, and then boom, alpha, beta, Charlie waves start taking place, meaning derivatives of A, the projects, and B, people exploring other places in the metaverse. Maybe they weren't convinced to explore Decentraland, but after Nifty Islands, they're like, well, now I want to party with all my nifty friends. So something to think about. I do actually have a question. I downloaded that app, avatar.web, and holy shnikes, I'm excited. I already have ideas for what I could do with that with DJing. But my question, real quick, and it can hop in the DMs if it makes more sense, unless it's real quick, or just tell me to chat GPT. It's fine. I just downloaded my VRM from Decentraland of my avatar, and I put it in, loaded, flawless, the glorious Meta DJ. But the colors seemed a little off. Some of the specific wearables seemed a little off, like the skin color was much darker. Is that a setting or something deeper to dive into?
Ooh. I learned this previously this month, and I think Rustan was the one who taught me this. So I'm so excited to share this with you, Meta DJ. So you would actually have to pull it into Blender or Unity and manually adjust and change the file type, because I think what Rustan was saying is because each wearable is its own sort of thing, the Decentraland VRMs are not optimized. And so you would have to tweak it in Blender or Unity, I think, in order to get it just right.
Ooh, Meta DJ's gonna learn Blender. That's dangerous.
You're gonna. It's.
I'll see you in like 3 years, Meta DJ.
Yeah, I'll just jump on that, Meta DJ. Yes, the answer is you can export your VRM. The weight of stuff and the they call it gloom. Is it bloom? Gloom? Cece, help me out.
No, it was not Bloom. Rustan corrected me and he called it something
called it Bloom.
else. Yeah.
Well, the glowing
emission. Thank you, Wilson.
There you go. Thank you. So the emission is a different process, and I believe they use a different file format was another part of the answer. So like instead of it being the file type being a PNG, it was actually for other platforms, it was supposed to be a JPEG, something like that when it came down to the materials. We'll get you over that info moving elsewhere, but we really appreciate the context.
Absolutely. I just want to say real quick, and I'll rest my mic. Thank you so much for the support. We'll look into it. DM me, anyone, if you're interested, help me out. But also, just wanted to comment real quick on the idea of what do we do about the VRMs and being public? And it's a good point, and it's a good reminder to all of us, the creators, that this is very early. For all the creators that are putting in and incorporating IP that's not yours or music, myself as a DJ, we need to be very cautious and check it. What I would say is, I think a good short-term solution would be very clear terms at the source of upload. So if it's a Decentraland wearable and it's to be then potentially exported as a VRM, we probably should have a feature within Decentraland that pretty much authorizes the rights. And if you don't, then when you export your VRM, it's excluded. Maybe.
And just to be clear, they also have like rights that you have to follow as the uploader. We all know that not everybody does that, but they are there saying, hey, do you have the right? Do you fully own this? And, when it comes to my beast, the answer is yes. But when it comes to wearables, I went back and looked at most of my wearables, obviously are from Decentraland. That's where we spend most of our time, and a lot of our creators are. By the way, shout out Mew Mew Mew. I see you. Walker, good to see
Hi,
you.
Mew Mew.
There wasn't a single wearable that had a term and condition on it that I found. That doesn't mean they're not there, but in OpenSea's where it listed in the description, and maybe it's time to evolve again, right? It's like I really couldn't have seen this coming a mile away because of the way all other metaverses really work right now when it comes to VRMs. It doesn't put it on chain. It uploads it into the platform, and sometimes it'll like save it, but most times it's literally for that experience, right? Um, so this is a huge question, and I was a little upset at first because I'm like, wait, we've been doing this for a year at least in Decentraland where you could go and leave with your
Yeah.
stuff. Is this like sour grapes? And then when I
No.
when I look more careful, and I realized that you could be empowering, taking somebody's stuff. It's kind of like a knockoff handbag. Having said that, most wearables are individual pieces. At least there are
Yeah.
definitely some that are whole. So
Okay.
then all of a sudden
So
it's another
I'm gonna
100 questions.
pause you right there, Mig. I'm gonna let OX Quan go, and then I want to introduce Sinks and Kanessa, and then LM has their hand up. So I love this conversation, but I wanna move it. So Quan, what's up?
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, intellectual property is so important, right? Knowing what your IP, what assets, what you hold, and is very, very important, guys. Like knowing how to navigate these waters is going to be a super uh, um, like valuable lesson, right? Like you said, we're all on this journey together, but the main thing is that knowing what IP rights you do have to your assets is going to take you a long way, right? Because at the end of the day, all of these services have their terms and conditions, right? It is our responsibility to look into those terms and conditions. But as far as Nifty Island goes, right, I think a big thing that we're overlooking is the fact that the platform is built to house your NFTs. If your NFTs have the VRM assets attached in the metadata, right? You don't have to worry about them taking anything because you're not uploading anything. It's just looking at the VRM file that's attached to your NFT, right? Once you connect your wallet. So we have to remember that, right? When it comes to uploading content to any platform, there's going to be property rights that come with that. So we have to inform ourselves. That's really it. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Absolutely agree. I want to pass the mic to Kanessa. How are you doing today? You can introduce yourself, and then if you had anything to add to this particular topic, love to hear it.
Thank you, Cece. I'm Kanessa. I'm an active builder in Decentraland, space host, a couple other things. Thank you for giving me the space. I know when I saw what your topic was about today, I immediately sent you a DM because I'm like, ooh, like there's all these other details around it that I don't even fully understand. And I feel like in Web3, because the space is moving so fast, like lightning fast, I feel like it's remember when we were kids and you'd find a hill and you'd run full speed down the hill, and it was so fun because after a while, like the momentum forced you to keep moving your legs or you're going to fall. And so all of a sudden it gets like really scary because you can't stop, or you're just going to bite the dust. Or maybe I was just the only person doing that. But I feel like that's kind of the point where we're at here, where we didn't make this. Like we didn't realize 6 months ago what that VRM exporter was going to do. I mean, I think it was cool when it came out, but I think it was we didn't realize the power behind it, that you could take your avatar, take it out of Decentraland, take it these different places. So like the fun factor, we didn't realize it could be really fun. But I think that the the other part is like we didn't realize how dangerous the IP also could get, because I think that it's one thing if I were to model my shirt and put that on the avatar and take it out. But when I have like my favorite pair of shoes and I bought it from a designer that was, active like a year ago, and I'm basing my assumption that that item is safe because I'm assuming that that person created it. But we know that there's different creators in Decentraland over time that didn't create their assets. They bought it off of Sketchfab and then they uploaded it, minted it in Decentraland as their own, and then sold that. So now you're not just playing with like the IP of the creators in Decentraland. You're maybe potentially borrowing IP from places like Sketchfab and these different, other organizations. So my fear is that we're moving so fast that we don't have safeguards in place. Like there's a Coca-Cola shirt, like I don't know how Coca-Cola would feel if all of a sudden they see their product running around Nifty Gateway. They might be really happy that it's being represented. But I believe, from what I was told, that they may not have known that that publishing that wearable in Decentraland would release them of the rights to the IP. So that's really interesting when you start looking at that and the Web3, the teeth behind it. Like, I don't know what they would do about that, but I definitely thought it was a good conversation because I love VRMs. There's a lot you can do with them. It's just like, we got to see the whole picture, I guess, is important as well.
So real quick, sorry, see, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to hand the mic to Sinks and say hello and see if they had anything to add to this particular conversation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Awesome, thank you. And thanks, and the CEO at Polygonal Mind and Vibe. We do stuff, we do 3D stuff everywhere. Well, I jumped into the speakers because I was listening to the AP conversation. And I wanted to point out a couple of things. The BRM file is just like GLB or an FBX for the most part when we're talking about the 3D model itself. The only reason, or one of the biggest reason why we started using BRMs like 4 or 5 years ago is because of a feature that is often overlooked, which is the licensing, and that's within the NFT of the file itself. Any BRM comes with information about, can you redistribute the file? Can you use it for this certain use case or this other one? And that's something that other file formats don't have it. So that's why we started using it. On top of that, it has other things like standardizing a humanoid skeleton or adding the basic face expressions like blinking your eyes or choking with the vowels and things like that. But the licensing is pretty important. And going into the topic of what's happening with NiftyL and people uploading things and so on, I will say that the first thing is that, of course, anybody here has the ability to go to like Google Images and grab a Coca-Cola logo, and they can store it in their computer. And that doesn't mean that they own it, or they can just go to a PowerPoint and put that logo in there and say that they are Coca-Cola or that they have worked with Coca-Cola, but that doesn't mean that they did it. That doesn't mean that they have the right to do so. And in this case, we're talking about 3D files that you can also store in your computer. You can use in many different places. And the important thing, I think, is how platforms enforce IP rights. They track what people are doing in their platforms because they're the ones that have the ability to enforce that, give meaning to IP rights, give meaning to ownership, and so on. So I don't think there's a problem with the file itself. The only thing is that people need to realize that meaning of ownership or meaning of IP rights or IP rights being protected is up to platforms in the end. That's my thought.
All right, LM, I know we're going to get to you, but I got two things, one for Kness, one for Syntax. And I love me some of you, girl. I got love from top to the bottom to the top. Okay, so I think the overall arcing concept of it, and specifically related to Decentraland, right? It's like, I thought it was one of the most empowering things that Decentraland ever did, like allowing you to be yourself. Like, and I said it before, shout out DJ Trax. If I throw my Trax helmet on, a pair of his wings, some spotty pants, definitely my roller skates, I can't wait to export that. And I've jumped into Hyperfy. Everybody had a good time. I jumped into OnCyber more than once with a couple creations I made. Really cool. But now we're talking about a platform that has had a rush success with hundreds of people, right? You're waiting online and you're like, oh crap, my stuff is going over there. And there's that, but I feel like that's like going out to the store and you're like, okay, I'm going to get out and I'm going to go be myself, or I'm going to go to a party. I'm going to dress in my gear and I'm going to be myself. Where I start to have a problem, and it is a real one, is when you're saying you can mint one of more copies of said asset, and then it goes back reverse. As Syntax said, if you could put data points of IP rights into the VRMs, yes, a yes or no, if you could even do it in Decentraland, letting their authors make decisions. But you have to put that IP information now from Decentraland going out. It needs to be baked in. So there's one other point, which is not only does it say you have the right to do this because of your IP, da 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 da, but you're also associating it to other brands and things. So if you can get spanked pretty quickly by someone who's like a wearable maker who sees you doing it, can literally go to Nifty Gateway and say, I dispute this. This is mine. The question really becomes, did the wearable makers think this through, put that kind of data into the original file? Because
Yeah,
if
so
it's in the original file, then it's going to lead to the VRM. So just a lot of thoughts there. LM, and
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No worries. One second, LM. So I checked with the terms, and ChatGPT says that Nifty adheres to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA, which means the platform has a policy in place to respond to claims of copyright infringement. Creators can report if their IP rights are violated by other users on the platform, and Nifty can take action, which may include removing infringed content. So they do have protections in place. And there's about 6 other points of protection. So of course, ownership retention. So we remain, keep ownership of the IP, content exclusivity, the compliance, of course, user responsibility, licensing limitations, of course, control over sales and transactions, and of course, in the content guidelines, like you said, we have those securities in place. So if we see infringement happening, we can go to Nifty and they can investigate it. LM.
Hello, all you beautiful souls. My goodness. Hi, Cece, Make, Quan, Canessa, Bio, Meta. What is going on? Meta DJ, Synex, all you beautiful souls in the building. Oh, this is a topic. This is a beautiful one. And I definitely love the fact that you get into all the nooks and crannies, because that's what we need. We need to discuss what is going on. For those that don't know, I am LM Designs 8. I'm a healing, multi-dimensional creator of all different types of things. I inject the worlds and realms that I create with the healing that is through me and my love of art and technology and mixing and blending the two. So VRMs are a big deal. Love them. The concerns that we have in this department do tie back to when you are the owner and the creator, you do have the rights and the responsibilities lie in your hands. So when you are creating these things, I did share up to the top that when you are creating, specifically, this is Vroid, but on different platforms, when you are creating using VRMs, there are very specific things that you are able to allow or not allow your VRMs to be used for. Because again, we need some safeguarding of some sort, because there are things that are going on and it is very fast paced, like Canessa was saying. And Synex is so correct in the fact that it is embedded in the files that we are creating. So again, heavy is the head that wears the crown. When you are the creators, it is on you to make sure that you allow or not allow your creations to be used in a certain way. And then that means that you are required to what? Track where your creations are, because no one is going to be the policing this in the ways that outside would. We aren't the Coca-Cola brands. We don't have people who are literally scouring the internet, seeing where these things are happening. So you become responsible for that too. That's another thing that is added to your hat. You need to be aware of where your things are living and where they can travel to. But at the base level, there is so much metadata. It is blockchain like. That is why we like it. You can find the trails, you can find the connections. It is all written into the code. So I do want to say, yes, it's scary. Yes, we have to safeguard ourselves. There are things that we can put in place, but there are things within the files. But you have to read. It's like the people who, okay, we're going to get on this app, we're going to get on that app. Didn't read the terms and conditions, but you signed over everything. Understand it's the same with everything that you're entering, any terms and conditions that you're entering, any metaverses that are built, any platforms that you sign up for. You are responsible. So do your research. Okay. Love y'all.
Oh, LM. Oh, I love it. You totally took my big finishing, my closing statement, but you did it so beautifully. I'm not even mad. It was perfect. It was perfect. Do your own research, my lovies. 100%. And when Knessa brought this topic to my attention, I was like, oh, I've been wondering when this was going to be a situation because I was curious about it. Like, how are creators, continuing to monetize if we are, taking and running with this thing? So it just makes me so excited that we are building the future. We are taking control back into our hands, and we're saying, no, this is what I want. This is what I need. So, Knessa, what's up?
Yeah, just kind of going on what LM said is that those terms of service were written before there was a VRM exporter in Decentraland. So like, I'm just going to pick on the big brands, Atari, Coca-Cola, those came in 2020. The terms of service that they wrote or that they signed, that they, did their research on, there was no way to take their product outside of Decentraland back then. So they signed that paper. They, I'm sure to some extent they agreed to it. They gave consent. But since then, the technology has created this, path outside of this specific metaverse. So like, I would imagine in litigation, if we were in, a court, Decentraland would have to contact and notify every brand who has published a wearable that now the terms of service have changed, that there is a way to export this content. Like I don't, you're right. There's probably not somebody hunting it down. I just know with AI, I'm guessing that they're probably using AI to recognize IP throughout, the internet. I know Lego came for me once. They shut me down. And I'm like, how did you find me, Lego? So I think also it's important to know that there are sellers in Decentraland who do have terms of service. I can name a couple. I won't say them here, but they have, like, let's say that a wearable creator, I want to make a hair and I'm not good at hair. And I want to sell a wig. So I approach this creator. They make the hair for me. I sign the thing that says, yep, I'm going to use this in Decentraland. I'm going to resell it here. And then I sell it. But now all of a sudden there's a way for the buyer to take that and export it. And that creator did not give consent for that to be exported because maybe they want to go to Nifty Island and like start an entire brand there. So I think that, right now there's a proposal in Canny in Decentraland that it's being created to shut off the ability to export these wearables with the VRM. So if that passes, and not passes, if it's created, the creator can just push a button and you'll have a wearable that is not allowed to go out. And so I think it's just, that's probably the way to do it from behind the scenes. And I think that, time will tell. We'll see how this rolls out. But if Web3 has any legs, if it sticks around, I think that the big brands will notice. They're gonna see, they're gonna notice, they're gonna see that this is happening. To what capacity they care, I'm not sure of.
That is so interesting because Make and I were heatedly debating, like, what rights do you have if you purchase these? Because these wearables are NFTs, right? So what rights do we have as the owner of these NFTs to do with what we want? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about, have you ever been thrifting at like a secondhand store? And you know that 100% of the proceeds of that thrift is going to that secondhand store, not to the company that originally created that item of clothing. And it kind of made me wonder, is there a similar line of argument, with wearables and NFTs, VRMs, the whole bag. And Make, yeah, you had your hand up.
Sorry, button mashing. Oh man, this, I mean, first and foremost, this entire concept and like this one piece that evolved is the one that sticks out for me. Like, I don't know, like we've spent an entire month, and if anybody sits around me for the last 6 months, maybe longer, talking about how excited I am about VRMs, how excited I am to take my IP wherever the hell I want and go be whoever the hell I want, whether it's in Kinesis hula hoop or, you know, or in Trax's helmet, which I'm usually in both, like 99% of the time. And I love the fact that I could go to Hyperfy and I could drop him in, even if he's not perfect meta DJ, I'll work on him. And be myself, because that's such a great form. And again, we've got a couple people here from Metatope who are the ones releasing a platform for the Utes right now. They have come out and it really also exploded on the timelines, and um, they have like concepts, they have internal stuff, and they're doing stuff, you know, I don't want to overshill or oversay, but they've got a lot of use cases, and this is like an internal all thing, right? And then they can license that out to whatever game or whatever. Um, but now where I get stuck, and honestly, like when it comes to big brands, I think they're the easiest people to reach, more so than like Web3 degens who are like just made something. But when it comes to like remanufacturing and putting something on the blockchain again, where if there was not a clear path from that initial export from Decentraland to put in those validation rights, I do see a big issue. And it's funny because I was pounding the table probably about 2.5, 3 hours ago, saying, no, this is the greatest thing ever. We should have this freedom, until I realized that they were opening the door to reselling stuff. I really don't think that's fair. If anybody does that with my photos or whatever, I get pissed. And I could see that being a case. This is going to change how VRMs work again, at least from Decentraland's eyes or anywhere who's affected by this going forward. Now IP becomes this huge relevant topic that wasn't foreseen. And it's just proof we have to keep adapting. But man, the reselling part, I think the real sticking point, at least to me, no question, because in every one of these other Monoverse or wherever you go, all you're doing is uploading the file for use in that game. And that I personally don't see a problem with, because I bought an asset to be that asset. But it didn't mean I bought it to sell it. So that's a real, and not to mention on chain as something you own. That's a big question.
I love it. LM, please.
Oh, the way I agree, I agree. I wanted to tune in and tap into what Kanessa was saying about the brands are going to notice. Yes, and actually, the best thing is for them to notice. We want them to notice, and actually, a lot of them are trying to figure out right now how to best monetize and inject themselves into this space. So glad we're here first, because when they come, it'll be a different thing, and it'll be a whole different beast that we're encountering. But I totally agree. It's kind of like double minting on multiple platforms. It's kind of like all of the things that were allowed with the greatness and the freedoms that we do get with being able to create in this way. So when it becomes a matter of I can resell and change and alter, well, the same things that we were experiencing in Web 2 when people are dealing with different platforms where they're selling their art, and now all of a sudden, Etsy, for example, you see that print on somebody else's something, but they're selling it as their own. Same exact problem. It is brought here, it is reached here. And there are things that we're going to do, like have these conversations, that is going to sway how we're going to combat what is to come. So kudos to us for having these hard conversations.
Ooh. And while we were having these conversations, I was asking ChatGPT to look into some things for me. So the terms of use do not have any specific, verbiage around exporting DRMs. for use on other platforms. Neither does the the terms of use doesn't have anything. The content policy doesn't have any verbiage around that. It doesn't explicitly address the export of wearables for use on other platforms. It does emphasize respect for intellectual property rights and the responsibility of users for the content that they are creating and sharing. Now, license granted to Decentraland does technically suggest that while users retain some rights over their content, they also permit the platform to use and distribute it. But it repeatedly says for specific guidance, you need to get in touch with the Decentraland legal team. So I think the Decentraland definitely needs to update their terms of use and all of that content policy. Go for it, Make.
Something very interesting, and this shines quite a bright light on how, when optimal and when everybody's getting along, just ask Canessa, the leader of the pack, when everybody's getting along, this is how Decentraland actually works really correct for the Web3 environment, because they built, first you have your community layer, then you have your DAO layer, and then you have your foundation layer, right? Every time you go to submit a wearable that is going to go on chain, you have to pay $100 fee, $150, I believe now. I think at one point it was $250. Existence can clear that up. However, that $150 then also has somebody else come and review it, which checks, do you own this IP? Does it work? I tried one that was from an earlier collection I did. It didn't work. And yet you're minting it on chain, and you're minting a certain amount of numbers. So you're also opening the opportunity to rug someone. Like if you're making something and just saying, yeah, that looks good, it's gonna work great. Here's my 3D render. Here's what it is. And nobody's fact checking that or even checking to see if it's right. You could be opening the door to selling a ton of bad shit. I will also say that, the way it's listed, it literally, the second you go to open up a VRM, it lists you as a creator. That is what the option is: create something. And that's not necessarily something you're doing by uploading somebody else's art, even somebody else's avatar. I think this is a strong case that I honestly don't feel good about. I see where it's upsetting from a base level, maybe for like people to leave and walk around in a t-shirt in the metaverse. But the fact that you're taking something and saying that this is something that you created, that is a red flag. Now, I know I could upload my Vipe, and I've done that, and I'm not the creator, but I have decent rights, and I'll let Syntax talk about that. But I didn't say I wanted 100 of that asset, but it was there for me to do, and I don't know that that's a responsible choice that they're making currently. Having said all of it, I just also want to say, we are not bashing Nifty Gateway in any way. In a broader sense, they had quite an incredible launch. I have partied with so many people from the Beast, from the Vipe fam, from the Shellzorb fan. I mean, to onboard roughly 120 communities in some way to give them an ability to grow and have everybody really come in and have fun. I think that is something maybe we've missed for a while, like, and people are already hacking it. Meta DJ Tracks threw a party. He ran the audio through and made it work. So it is, shout out DJ Tracks for making that happen, by the way. I'd also say, don't think right behind this door of VRMs and what is going on this topic, music does not become a huge fucking fight too. You guys, I don't know if you've noticed lately, but if you go into a private Discord and have a conversation like me and CC fighting over VRMs this morning, if I'm listening to music, it now blocks CC from hearing it. Unless she has and I have a premium Spotify account we cannot listen to music between each other. So if you don't think these topics that are only based on this one codex do not have huge implications for everything we're doing, these are the fights we're having. This is why I'm in Web3. I mean, obviously, I'm a rug purchaser, but outside of that, I mean, these are the fights we can have that are going to either change lives or we're going to get held back and be a slave to all this stuff that we've already been pounded with.
Oh my gosh, I am so glad that I forced you to let me talk about this today, Make. This is so spicy. Let's go to Quan, and then we will hit up Biometa.
Yeah, so I just want to say I agree with everything that you guys are saying, and I feel like, as I'm sitting here like listening to the struggles and like all of the, feedback from, how we're operating in this playing field, as it when it in regards to IP, I think one thing that needs to be touched on is it's not only our responsibility to know our IP rights and what value that we have, it's also the developer's responsibility too, right? The VRM creators, right? And I want to reiterate that because it's like buying a car, right? It's like going to a dealership, seeing a car that you really really like, but you don't know shit about it. And who knows, it could not perform the way that you need it to, right? It could not do the things that you expect it to, right? Car companies have recalls all the time. The thing, the good thing about VRMs is that the developer can upload an update to the VRM directly because they have control over the metadata, right? But with that comes power too, because they're able to, there's malicious characters out there everywhere, but we can have a whole spaces about that as well. But when it comes to these assets that we own and just how malleable they are, and just how interoperable they actually are, we have to consider from a developer standpoint the fact that these provisions and these permissions can be input into the VRM itself. So when it comes to the asset that you own, really take the time to throw it into Blender, check that file, look into those asset permissions, okay? This is your responsibility, right? And if it doesn't have those permissions, which I don't believe Decentraland VRMs have come with any permissions, right? Because it's just not in the metadata. So that in and of itself is something that has to be addressed, right? Like what codecs are they using to format and export those VRMs, and how much of that is going to be taken care of, right? That's them. For me, I'm a Vipe maxi, y'all know this. So when I grab my Vipe and I threw it into Blender, immediately I see the IP rights and what I have available to me, right? It's right there in the metadata, locked in format, what I can use this for, what credentials I have. I own full ownership, and it's right there in my face. And it takes companies like Vibe, like Polygonal Mind, like Avastars, like a Vroid or whatever, to place that information into that metadata, right? So that we, as the consumer and as the users, know what we're actually getting into. So I just wanted to briefly, kind of touch on that.
I love it because they are, like you said, Vipe, excellent use case study, whatever you want to use, example, are running their project like a business and making sure their ass is covered. It's like cover your ass situation. If you're advertising that you have full IP rights, you are backing it up with the legalese, if you will, to let the consumer know that they're getting a quality product. So I guess in a sense, smaller projects who are, still learning, still growing, and still treating it like an art project, no disrespect at all, because I'm an art project, hello, need to also get on board with sort of like that boring coding back end metadata sort of
Well,
level.
and can I? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt or
No,
whatever.
please
I
do,
just have
please
to
do, please
interject
do.
because once you understand the power and like the gravitas that comes with owning your IP, especially from a developer standpoint, it doesn't become a boring task to input that data. It's kind of like giving power. You're giving someone the power to utilize their IP however they want, and you're giving them clarity as well. So it doesn't have to be boring. It can be a process. It
Ooh,
can be a journey, right?
I
If
love
you
it.
look at it from that,
Way to
yeah,
spin
no,
it. Love it. Thank you
And
so
my
much,
bad
Juan.
to piggy on that, but
Get it, girl.
I'm just saying, who doesn't love an Easter egg with metadata? I mean, okay, for everyone who is minted an NFT, metadata, it is part of why we like to have. Oh, what is that trait? This is empowering for you. Don't look at it as a, oh, this is something I have to do. This is the good. This is the good side of creation. You are taking ownership. So when you put into and you're making avatars, understand where your avatars might be built and understand that those platforms might change. So when they change what they're doing, those things might break. So you might want to put in, this is for version 1 of and matches with this. Outside of that, that gives it's clear communication. It's letting people know, like make you understand I'm working with the youth because things were changed within the structure of spatial, how the coding and packaging went out, which broke certain things that I had. Ooh, from a creator side, I was frustrated. But from someone who is developing for other people, I was super frustrated because the whole purpose is for you to have an experience that feels good. You don't want a broken experience. So take ownership, grab them reins, and just let's go. Let's go.
Yes, LM. Oh, I love it. You say things beautifully and with power. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Quan, you're absolutely right. It's not boring. My bad. Thanks. Thanks for putting me in my place. I love it. Let's pass the mic over to Bio, and then we are well past the hour. I am so sorry, guys. So we will wind it down. And I think Quan and I have a little announcement for next week, which I'm really excited about. So we will pass the mic to Bio, and then, oh, One Existence joined us on the stage. So we'll say hi to One Existence before we do our closeout.
I appreciate you. Hi, CC. Please throw some thumbs up in the air, guys, if you can hear me nice and clear. Please. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So shout out to everybody who's tuning in with us once again, guys. I do want to say if you guys can kindly retweet the space just in case any other users that come after when they listen to the room, they can catch all the good hot topics that we spoke about today, specifically the VRM concepts, which I think a lot of individuals are very interested in learning how to operate within that realm of perfect goodiness, right? Because I mean, think about it. You can use that in broadcasting, right? There's a lot more implementations in VRs that, or should I say VRMs, where you can use. For example, you can use AR, guys, augmented reality filters on Instagram and other social media platforms that require VRMs. I also do want to tap on a little bit and also mention all of the speakers that have spoken today, as we have been doing going on every space that we have here at Metaverse Mondays. We create a promotional advertisement for all speakers, including those that are not listed, to come up on the speakers panel. We do have a system here to promote you guys, so just know all the speakers today. We did promote your Twitter spaces, and you will be getting some promotions across the feed as well. Not to mention also talking about Nifty Island a little bit. Shout out to Nifty Island with all the concerns that we do have. Let's talk a little bit about the positivity and the positive sides for them. They were given an award, yes, an award, guys, from G4 Gaming Channel for the #1 metaverse launch with over 70 projects included into this Nifty Island release. One of the first metaverses to ever do something so spectacular, guys. So give them a round of applause for that one, for literally achieving something that's never been done. Shout out to Nifty Island for that one, guys. That's a very huge milestone, not only for the blockchain technology, but again, for all the technology that goes along with the blockchain, such as NFTs and VRMs and etc. Also, I do want to mention I am going to give you guys my closing statements because I will be playing the wall like graffiti and allowing the space to presume and close soon. But again, we have launched our Vita TV website, which is VitaTV.net. For anybody that wants to book services for broadcasting, we will make that live in the next 24 to 48 hours. Updating also prices will be available for those that want to purchase us for in real life events, all sorts of stuff, including also blockchain development. So if you guys are interested in that, we have a full stack team that is helping anyone interested into onboarding in the blockchain or developing 3D assets within the blockchain. Shout out to once again High CC and Maker NFT, and shout out to all of you guys who have came in today here at the Metaverse Mondays, episode 78 VRM Talks and Nifty Island Talks as well. Thank you again. My name is Chris Gonzalez, founder of Vita TV, aka the Black Box, which is the Metaverse first streaming and advertisement media distribution, aka cable box of the metaverse. Back to High CC and Make NFT.
Thank you so much, Bio. We super enjoy having him produce our shows because it takes so much stress off of my head. So I totally appreciate it. Comes highly recommended. One Existence, how are you doing today? Say hello, share your thoughts, and then any closing statements for you because you're gonna start off our safety round.
Hello, hello. Thank you. Make wanted to hear my take, but first let me shout out Dr. Green Thumb down in the space. He's an OG Decentraland creator, been around for a while. I've been talking with him about some of the things that have been going on lately. Good to see you, Dr. Green Thumb. He did H3D, and I appreciate you guys bringing up Wilson, who I hope you will give some time to talk about his take on VRMs, as there should always be an opposing an opposer to a topic being make. Yes, you actually brought up something I was going to say about the curation that Decentraland has, and just to clarify, it has been reduced to $100, and that is one of their responsibilities. Is supposed to be to check for the the right to use that. When Canessa said the thing about people using Sketchfab items, it kind of surprised me. Not much does surprise me anymore, so there's that. But as far as my take on all this, I agree with Sinks. There should be a accountability on the platform. I agree with LM Designs. Us as creators should have some responsibility, but it should also be our responsibility, every single one of us in this room, um, to be honest, which, to be honest, is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. Um, so just basically, in all, going back to one of the very first terms I heard ever coming into to Web3. This word is touted and used consistently. Community. It's up to us as a community, which includes every single person, to make sure these things are being used correctly. Um, I think I had more, but I forgot it. But that's okay. So I will just say, yes, it's up to each and every one of us to try to make sure things are done right. This is a whole new territory we're going into. I'm kind of surprised, actually, though. We've talked about interoperability for ages now, and I've heard, people talk about copyright, but I've never heard it talked about so much in the spotlight like today. Um, so we have to do it right for the future.
Yeah, we got to help these platforms build a better future for all of us. I think that's what we're all here for. We're all passionate about it. We want to, and I get all teary-eyed when I say this, Alan. I mean, One Existence. Sorry, I love doxing you. It's like my favorite pastime. Is we are looking forward. We're building a future that we want our children. We would be proud to see our children utilize. And every single one of us, we're creatives. We lead with our heart, a lot of us, like everyone in this room that I have connections with. I love you because you lead with your heart. I interact with your content and I, utilize your services, your assets, whatever it is, because you have a big heart. And I know that you want what's best for the future. It might suck right now, but that's okay because we're making it better. And all we're doing is we're opening up these conversations. We're enlightening, we're educating, and we're asking the tough questions so we can then go back to these platforms, these futures, like these places that our children will be spending their futures, and saying, hey, let's fix this. Let's work together to make it better. And so I don't think anything's wrong with what's going on right now. It's a starting point. I think LM said it. It's like V1. V2, V1.5. Like everything's going to get better. We're building, we're growing. And every one of us today having the foresight to like have these conversations we're kicking ass. We're doing what's right. And keeping it open and transparent is also like super key. So One Existence, thank you so much for joining us today. Anything that coming up this week that we should know about?
Not as far as I'm concerned. I can tell you I have come across 2 new metaverse platforms that are in the works. One I visited last night. Mate jumped into a space with me that they were having. It's called the Chronos Verse, and it's on the Chronos blockchain, and built on Unreal Engine, which has always been what I thought a metaverse should be built on as far as what is available currently today.
Ooh, you and me, we're gonna cross swords. I am a Unity girl. Well, let's have that debate later. Love you.
All right, Dave. Well,
Okay.
we're doing testing for for version 2 right now. So
Ooh,
I don't know how long that's
okay.
open. If you want to check it out, let me know.
Well, post that in the nest above, and if anybody's feeling froggy, they can jump in. Wilson, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that we get to have more conversation with you in the future. I know it was pretty quick, but is there anything coming up this week that you wanted to share, or any final thoughts?
No, I actually laughed when One Existence said I was opposition to VRM. I'm not really opposed to VRM at all. It's more, I don't know if that's the best format. And I've always had this worry about, obviously, copyright infringement in different parts. And we had a massive conversation, me and him, actually, on a call together about this. And the bigger part that I think that we could go for another 10 hours on is the royalties that's built into the assets and the ability to get royalties forever more off of these assets that's created. So I'll finish on that, and I would like to hear more about that. If you could bring that up on a story time, some other time, that would be great.
Of course, I will add it to my ever-growing list of interesting topics that that we like to talk about here on the show. Sinks, thank you so much for coming up and chatting with us again today. I absolutely value your voice. Is there anything happening this week that we should know about, or do you have any final thoughts about this conversation that you'd like to share?
I think it was a very, very interesting conversation because, of course, IP rights are super important. I don't know if we went a lot into BRM use cases, but I'll just say that the biggest use
We
cases.
totally got sidetracked. We totally got railroaded.
I'm gonna say that the biggest use case with BRMs is that you can use them. That's the biggest. Absolutely right. I agree with Wilson that the standard of the BRMs is just, it's a newer thing. The GLB, the FBX, and so on have been established for longer, but we're just trying a newer technology that we think it has a good future. So we'll have to see. And that, look, if we go back to having avatars with GLBs or FBX for most of these platforms that are now supporting BRMs, we have 100% ability to change them real quick. Like, actually, if people don't know, you can just grab a BRM and change the name to whatever that GLB, and it's a GLB, so it's not a big deal. But I want to say that I believe Kwan is hosting a game night in just an hour and a half. And also this Thursday in our weekly Twitter Spaces for Pipe, we have Charles, the founder of Nifty Island, coming to chat with us. Those two.
Ooh, I love, love, love. I'll definitely be there on Thursday because I want to like fangirl a little bit. So that'll be fun. Quan, send me the Discord invite. I'm guessing the game night's in Discord. No, it's not. Yes, no. Quan, you're killing me with the hand. All right, let's go to LM. Any closing thoughts? Anything going on this week that you would like to share with us? Here we go, our first ruggening of the day. Love, love, love. LM, if you come back, give me some sign. So I'm going to hop over LM and go to Canessa. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for bringing this topic of conversation to my attention. I really, really enjoy talking about what's on people's minds right now, what's hot, what is interesting, and you definitely touched on it. I guess that's why you're considered a reporter, because you do your job really well.
Am I a reporter? Oh my gosh.
Okay. You're my heart's reporter. Are there any topics that you wanted to revisit or anything that you wanted to say? And is there anything coming up this week?
So kind of two of those together. I want to say, like, when have we ever been in this position in history where we can really easily make sometimes a small purchase and have an entire brand to rally behind, which is so empowering. But none of that matters if it's not safe. And so my shout out is that Sinful Meat Stick down in the audience tonight is going to have Michael K from Wallet Guard on his show. And I've listened to Michael K talk to us a couple times, and like it there's so much, like, you will walk away from that with a nugget of information. He has a really good way of saying, like, we need to practice Web 2 safety before we practice Web 3 safety. Because if we're talking about VRMs and we're talking about putting all of that power into a digital asset that can be stolen from us, we should also be talking just as much about how we're securing that. So, yeah.
What time? What time
and
is that?
Simple left. He's not there.
What time? What time is that, Canessa? Because I think it changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. So it's going to be 5 o'clock Pacific time, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. So Michael K is from Wallet Guard. Bring your questions. There's horror stories. Bring your stories, your questions, and
bring the horror. That's what I'm going to quote you as.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard seeing your friends lose their stuff. So this is I know it's fun to talk about the fun things, but it'll be more fun if you know that you're safe. So
100%. Thank you so much, Canessa. Yes, join Sinful Meat Sticks tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Beyond the NFT. It is an amazing show. You can tune in on Twitch. You can tune in world at the Baby Dolls. And yeah, it's a great show. I really enjoy. Sinful is an amazing host, and this is a really exciting, we love Wallet Guard here. So definitely an exciting conversation. So we will go back to LM. I think you are back with us.
I am. I apologize. I was trying to get it together, and the ruggings happened. So I just want to say, in closing, yes, no, we do need to just be aware and make ourselves, again, like everyone has said, we want to be safe out here. We want to protect ourselves. So things that we are using that we think are new and haven't been used before and have been around, do your research, find out the history of the things. The reason why VRMs was brought together and things, the history of VRMs is a very interesting one, and it dates back to 2018, if I'm not incorrect. So definitely something that we should, if we're using these technologies, make sure we understand what ramifications happens when the floodgates open so that we don't get swept away. So like I like to say before I leave any place, any space, y'all love self, love others, and love often. Y'all can catch us Thursday nights in the jam, and we will be doing the after jam Friday and Saturdays, but I do speaking frequencies on Monday and Tuesdays, so you can tune in and tap in on Spoon and on TikTok. You can find me sharing frequencies with you all. So Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 a.m. So yeah, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Be well, be safe, and be inspired.
Absolutely love it. If you're not following LM, please do me a favor, go to her profile, smash that follow button. You will not regret it. You will come to me years later and be so grateful. All right, so let's see. Make had to dig out. He had tiny humans to go be responsible for. Oh wait, there he is. But OX, Quan, anything that you would like to share with us before I close us out? I'm going to put Make back up on the.
Great spaces again. I appreciate you guys hosting these conversations. I think these conversations are necessary, right? We're all in this journey together. Let's all remember that. We all come from different backgrounds. We have a lot that we can share with each other. So let's just keep open hearts. Let's keep open minds. And let's protect ourselves, right? And the only way that we can do that is by, knowledge enough, right? We have to stay informed. The space moves really, really fast, and the last thing we want to do is get swept away, right? Kind of like Ellen said. So love you guys. Appreciate this space. This is awesome. I can't wait for the next one. And speaking of the next one, CC, um,
Yay! You can announce it.
yeah, so for the next Metaverse Monday episode, we are going to be hosting it in my world in Nifty Island. So everybody get ready, okay? I got some games that I've been setting up. The world looks beautiful, and we will be keeping you guys informed on that. So yeah, I'm really excited. Like Nifty Island is a huge topic. It's a huge thing. And like Sink said, next Thursday, 5 p.m. CST, we will have Charles, the founder of Nifty Island, on stage, speaking with us, answering questions, and just chatting it up about Nifty Island. So I look forward to it. Again, great spaces, guys. Be blessed and be well.
Thank you so much. I am looking forward to partying on your island. I saw some screenshots and you have gone vertical. I am so excited to see what you've got going on. And it's so easy to build in Nifty. So once you're there and once we get you in and we have our little party, we can go visit islands. We can help you start building. It's going to be a really, really fun experience. And Metaverse Monday is all about education, uplifting, creating, and just having fun together. I call it edutainment. I think that's a word, right? One Existence, did you have something quick to share with us?
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I remembered one of the things I wanted to add, what Quan said about metadata. And if you think about it, how many people really actually know how to read that? So to add to your list for spaces, a DYOR, what does that all exactly entail? Because there's many different topics within that, I'm sure. And knowing what you need to know is something important. And then Cowboy Tom down there reminded me, he and I have a space tonight. We're doing some trivia. It'll be sometimes after Sinfuls. I'm guessing 9 or 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern, probably. We didn't set a date
Awesome,
or
awesome.
time.
Okay,
So
cool.
thank you.
Thank you so much, One Existence. How you doing, Cowboy Tom? Bio, do you have something quick to say before I give Griff the mic?
Sure. I know I said I was gonna end myself and play the wall like graffiti, but I lied. I couldn't resist you beautiful, amazing people. So I had to jump back up and give you guys some cool updates on events because CC mentioned what's coming up, right? So just so you guys know, we will be covering that on Vita TV. These are verified individuals who booked our services to also cover these streams. So if you can't jump in the metaverse, just know you can always jump in any social platform that we're in. Over 20 of them. So just search Vita TV or just Google Vita TV and you'll find everything. Some of those events will be on February 16. We will have a celebrity comedian, I Am Black Rose, celebrating her birthday in Times Square, New York Penthouse digital event, given the opportunity for Vita TV to broadcast this private, back behind the scene penthouse access to this amazing celebrity party and birthday party. Also, 126 in just 4 days from now, Serena Ellis will be also streaming and also be covered by Vita TV and a digital event in Oro, Dubai. Oro is the name of the lounge, live from Dubai at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also check that out. Two events, January 23rd and the 25th at 8 p.m. UTC at the Inn by Zest Records. You can also catch that live on Vita TV and in Decentraland. Meta DJs on Friday. There will be a new time change coming up, so stick tuned and pay attention to Meta DJ's profile for that update. It is again Fridays at Meta Illusions at Crypto Minotaur's Parcel. And I also want to give a shout out to our internal partners who I see inside here. Shout out to my brother Meta Dre with the Meta Mix in the room. Shout out to Rollo with the Music District. Shout out to our first sponsored DJ here at Vita TV, my boy CJ Tracks with Team T Rex. Also, shout out to my best friend and my brother IRL, my homie of the Web3, Cowboy Tom is in the room. Guys, don't forget, stay tuned on this pin live stream on both Maker NFTs and High CC's pin live stream. I will also drop down some links to some of these nifty islands, including my own High CC's CJ Tracks, so you guys can get pre-gamed and ready for next week's OX Quan's amazing sessions. Get yourself ready. It's gonna be a good one.
Just a quick correction, bio, and don't feel bad about it because everybody does it. Her name is Serena Ellis. Oh wait, no, you're right. Forget me. Goddamn. You actually got it right. You actually
All
got it
right.
right.
All right, everybody.
Serena Elise.
Shh, settle down, kids. All right, so I'm going to close this out and hand the mic over to Make. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this 78th episode of Metaverse Monday. I really hope you enjoyed our VRM month topic. I cannot wait for the party next week. Thank you so much, OX Quan, for hosting. I hope all you Vibe heroes can make it. It's going to be so much fun. If you missed the show, don't worry, boo. We've got you. The adventure has been streamed live to our YouTube and Kick channels thanks to Vita TV, the one and only cable box in the metaverse. If you would like to become a sponsor of Metaverse Monday, feel free to reach out to me, Hi CC, or make an NFT to discuss the opportunities. If you want to find out where the party is, hop on over to lighthouse.world and follow Make and myself. I will post the links to the chat. And Make, go ahead and close us
Hey,
out.
CC, my meta bestie. Couple things, folks and family. We have been covering a very specific hot button topic when it comes to the metaverse. End of the day, Nifty Gateway is super, super fun. We are big fans.
Nifty
Nifty
Island.
Island, thank you. And by the way, it is your boy Make. This is my artist profile, JGriff120, some better known as a burner, but yes, I always introduce myself. Nifty Island is absolutely fantastic. We are going to have a ton of fun with them and go through. This just really needed to be covered because it's a wild conversation, guys, that has implications for all of us going forward. And it's going to span so many more conversations than VRM. So I'm really glad we had it. Having said that, I am so sad. I'm going to miss you guys next week. I am taking my family away for my wife's birthday. We are going to be gone for 1 week for a recharge. So, Quan, please hold down my girl. Have so much fun. Also, I wanted to really shout out, if he's still in the building, DJ Trax, thank you for the opportunity for letting me open up for you last week for Tapping Tuesdays before you went to Spotty Wi-Fi's. So that'll be my request for y'all. Go check out Spotty's Tapping Tuesdays. It's great. There's a lot of Bees fam that usually rolls through. Thank you to my U family for coming. Thank you for my Bees fam for coming. Thank you for my Vipe man for coming. Metaverse Mondays, it has been a treat for you. We're taking this out with Fisher, Gate, Alexandra, and Atmosphere. Be easy. Stay unsleazy. It has been awfully really real. Congratulations again, Nifty Island. What a launch. Congratulations. We hope we play with you somewhere, somehow, someplace with my meta bestie. It's been real, girl.
Until next week, my loves, we'll see you in the metaverse. Bye.